these others. And that is an important way to look at it. We also hear of universal experiences of trauma when children go through war. Another study by Boyden and Berry, after reviewing an array of literature on war and how it affects youth, they say that the accepted wisdom is that the impact of war on children and youth is always negative and is seen as consistent, since it is generally thought that the child and the child development and well-being are based on biological and psychological structures that are fairly uniform across all class and culture. So when we talk about post-war effects on individuals, we are basing them on the idea that human beings grow in similar ways psychologically and socially. But long-term research shows that actually war does not affect individuals in the same way, because the most effects, especially in places in Africa that have had war, are most felt in networks. Families that have lost loved ones, families that have supported those that have been in war, or families that are trying to rehabilitate those that are coming in from being in the bush and fighting. So it's not useful to just focus on the individual and psychological issues that affect young people. How are the people within a society, within a town, within the family affected? So what is the psychology of a family? So those actual issues have to be addressed if we're going to move away from the assumption of how war may affect young people in the places that we look at. Social scientists also tell us that ethnographic research is not only important in helping establish these kinds of issues, but also helps us produce local knowledge by listening to conversations that are coming from the people that are involved in that. I think it's Nyang's work that talks about the movement by young people to call out voters to come in and within the movement. Is it Yamare? Yanama. Enough is enough. And the same had happened when hip-hop movement was involved in about 10 years ago. So listening to the voices of those that are in the society enables you to produce local knowledge. It is not shocking to see the enough is enough movement now, because we've been listening to young people through the medium of hip-hop and can see that they can mobilize others to move forward. So ethnographic research allows us to develop knowledge from the ground up, so to speak. Because when you're listening, you're not going in with an agenda. You're going in to say, let me see what's going on. And you are surprised at how savvy the people that you're working with are. And again, I think there was an interesting case that I found when I was doing a review of donor work in South Sudan, where communities had been tired of what they call the clipboard NGOs. Everybody was coming in with asking the same questions. There was Care International, there was World Vision, there was the CODESRIA, and all were focusing on this same community. And the community had learned in great ways what kinds of answers to give. They knew when World Vision comes, they are asking questions about how many of you have no food. CARE next day will come and ask the same questions. And they knew every time they answered as the reality is, they would not get the food. They wanted school fees to take their kids to school. But CARE was not interested in school fees. They're interested in feeding them. So what they ended up is with a lot of the same kind of food because they knew what to respond to. But if you had started from listening to the people from the ground, if you start your own work from listening, and that's why I'm saying your own subjectivity is important because all these issues are affecting you. It's not someone just thinking, oh, let's go and look at who is starving. Concepts of youth in that text. It's very clear. That's how we represent them. So how do you represent the youth that you're working with or on in your own work? If we start from an Afrocentric position and apply research methods that let our own subject position, our own subjectivity, who we are, interact with the subjectivity of the people that we're working with, we will have a very different kind of representation than one by someone who assumes he is, she, or she is objectively collecting data about a specific group of people that is different and out there. And we have to ask ourselves, can children and youth speak through your work? Can they find an authentic voice in the way you tell their story? Can they recognize themselves in the work that you'll come up with? Let me tell you, one of the challenges of writing. When I wrote my first book, I had to ask myself, what will happen when the people that I've written about start reading this book. I wrote about Swahili women involved in a music genre called Taarab. And I was talking about, I was challenging actually the idea that sort of Muslim women are, you know, oppressed and they have no voice. And I wanted to say, okay, what are they saying about themselves through this medium that is very, very much a female voice? You know, Taarab is for weddings and all this. And a few months after the book was published, I got word that one of the eminent professors in political science, Ali Mazrui, who is from Mombasa, had read the book, and thank God he thought very highly of it. But what happens when the work that you've written ends up in the hands of the people that you're writing about? What will they say? Are you selling out? Are you representing them? Have you missed things because you didn't ask? Did you, what Brother Lututala said, are you coming up with things that are not representative of the reality? You know, can come for 2.5 weeks to Dakar and now become the expert on Senegalese culture? Those are the questions that you have to ask. And ask very hard, because when you're true to the person that you're working and writing about, you're true to the academic world as well. I think I'll stop there and we'll have some questions.